Yeah, we have a picture up now of this building right next to your hospital that just collapsed on itself. You were talking about that water. We also saw your folks slogging around in that water trying to take care of people. In your estimation, how did your staff perform yesterday?
The staff yesterday performed in an incredible way. Very proud of all the people that came and helped out. Our physicians, our own staff itself. We had tremendous help from the disaster networks in our area, both from Orange County and Los Angeles County. And of course, we had many volunteers that came to help out in any way they could.
Southern California's San Fernando Valley shattered early this morning by a major earthquake, bringing death and chaos to the greater Los Angeles area. The quake and dozens of aftershocks have crushed buildings, mangled highways, cut power and water supplies, and inflicted a human toll that is still rising.
This is a special edition of NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from Southern California.
If there is a saving grace to this disaster, it is that this earthquake hit early this morning when many people were still at home, and it is, after all, a holiday. Nonetheless, a number of people are dead tonight, many more are injured, and many people, of course, have been severely dislocated from their homes.
At Granada Hills Community Hospital, the parking lot became a triage center. Several hospitals had to refuse the injured. Their buildings were too severely damaged.
But how did you get the cut with the piano?
What it's been like for you this morning?
Hell. Absolute hell.
Most of the injuries were not life-threatening, cuts and bruises, but still so many were in need of help, many had to wait their turn. This 2-week-old baby got immediate attention from Nurse Jack Burns, who determined the bump on her head was not serious.
Nothing prepares you for a day like today. Buildings falling down over here, people are all over the place, the parking lot's staked out. Nothing prepares you for this.
This is CNN.
Others in the San Fernando communities, Northridge, Sylmar, Granada Hills, were injured. Granada Hills Community Hospital quickly filled up and overflowed. The hospital conducted triage in its parking lot.
We've seen at least about 100 people that have come through our triage already, and probably at least another 50 to 75 people that are on premises right now.
There were nearly as many cameras. One radio helicopter landed to evacuate a quake victim to a burn center.
Now, Channel 2 Action News Nightcast.
Tonight, there's only one hospital that's functioning in the north end of the San Fernando Valley. All the others have shut down because of quake damage. But at that one hospital, business is far from usual. Our Mary Parks has an exclusive look inside.
Tonight, a second wave of people injured in the quake are coming to this triage area for help. Some have been braving the pain for 2 days to make room in a hospital for others.
I just figured more people needed help than I did, and I could walk on it and everything. I think it's just sprained, so just decided to hold off.
Does it hurt back here at all? It hurts a little, but pretty much the pain goes from here down.
Leanne Seaman sprained her ankle helping 4 children escape outside.
Ow! So your ankle hurts too? Just a little.
Community is the only hospital on the north side of the valley that's operational. Working on emergency generators, lab technicians are doing their work only by the light of equipment essential to save lives. There is no running water, so medical staff are making do.
What is that? Why are you doing that?
This is alcohol because we don't have water, so we use this for scrubbing instead of water.
The hospital's pharmacy was especially vulnerable.
Just describe this for me. Give me an idea.
Well, you have to remember that about 4:45 on Monday morning, these shelves were empty, and the reason they were empty is because everything was on the floor. So we learned how to keep things up when things start shaking here, and we've taken wire and secured the shelves so that things won't fall off them.
The power of the quake can be seen in the cracks on the floor.
The ceiling and wall separation here is pretty much the extent of the structural damage to the hospital, and officials believe that's because the building codes for hospitals are so strict.
To the patients, the medical staff are angels of mercy, but even angels need sleep.
Okay. Where's we going to stay?
We're making beds in the chapel. And they've been sleeping in the lobby. And we've been sleeping in the lobby. The lobby's not bad, as long as we don't shake too hard. What have you learned from this experience?
I've learned that our crew has incredible spirit, and again, one of the things we did learn was that moving our triage area to the parking lot outside the hospital worked as a tremendous control system for us and allowed for us to be extremely efficient and extremely organized.
Reporting from Granada Hills Community Hospital, Mary Parks, Channel 2 News.
Also ahead, inside a Southern California hospital these days, a hospital struggling to cope with medical emergencies, while the hospital itself is in critical condition after last week's earthquake. And our consumer editor, Paula Lyons, here in this half hour to talk about anti-lock brakes. There are some new findings that indicate they may be misunderstood, perhaps not as good as the claim.
It's now 8 until the hour. The Los Angeles quake was the kind of disaster that would tax any hospital system. But adding to the problem was the fact that so many hospitals had themselves been damaged in the quake. Imagine an emergency room without power or water. Well, what's the situation like now, 10 days after the quake? We sent our cameras out for a look.
Almost every hospital in LA County was affected in one way or another by the quake. 18 were damaged, and 5 at one point were completely closed. We've since reopened 2. We expect to reopen 2 more. 1 may stay closed for an extended period of time.
Granada Hills Community Hospital was hit especially hard and had to deal not only with its own patients, but incoming earthquake victims as well.
One of the first things that we had to deal with was a 2,500-gallon water tank that feeds our sprinkler system ruptured on the roof, sending 2,500 gallons of water into our 3rd and 2nd floors, all the way down, flooding our emergency room. So the first thing we had to do was evacuate approximately 50 patients from the 2nd and 3rd floors in the dark through the stairwells down to our lobby area and make sure they were all okay. And we've had a tremendous amount of work going on since Monday, and our emergency room is back up and operational right now.
How you doing? You hanging in there? Well, I think initially the staff had levels of adrenaline that were sky high, and we were just too busy to think about our own problems. Right now, as things have tapered off, people are beginning to realize that that this is a major disaster, and it's starting to take its toll on our staff. We now have a team of psychologists and psychiatrists who are helping not only the people in the community, but also the staff.
I've learned that I have an incredible staff of nurses who I know can handle any challenge that is put to them. They have been wonderful. They have come in off time. They have just immediately come to the hospital and did what had to be done. But I think it's given them all confidence to know that they can handle these emergency situations, and they did it very, very well.
That this hospital was able, in the midst of a huge earthquake in an urban area, to respond to the needs of its community, which is why we're here, and that we did that quite well and quite efficiently. And I think it just brought us all that much closer together to be able to handle these things in the future.
Well, I understand we have a burn patient that we need to get transferred. What's going on?
That is correct. We have a patient who has second-degree burns and third-degree burns from their waist down and first-degree burns of their face. We need to get this patient transferred to Sherman Oaks Burn Unit, and we have authority or the ability for Sherman Oaks to accept that patient. We now need emergency transportation vehicle to be able to transport that patient, and that's an immediate need we would appreciate right away.
Okay, great. How many people have we seen come through here? Chuck, if you could just pan around and show some of the folks. The parking lot is still set up here like a triage center. What have we been looking at today here?
We've received at least 10 admissions so far. We have about 3 dozen patients that have been seen in triage already, and another, I'd say, at least 4 to 5 dozen patients in our parking lot. We are taking them on a priority basis due to level of injury.
So we're pretty much closed to saturation point.
We are closed to saturation point, especially to paramedics, and that is our biggest concern, is for the emergent patients that arrive to be able to receive the appropriate treatment.
Injuries, what are we seeing?
We're seeing a lot of feet that are cut due to broken glass. We're seeing some head injuries to things that have fallen, and we're seeing minor breaks and sprains.
Okay, now the communication problem, do you have phones working yet in this facility?
We've got partial internal phones, and we do have one line that we're using as an outside line with a person who works with us who's off-site. We've kept them on hold, and they've made outside calls for us.
Okay, well, and we'll get to work here, see if we can help you out on some transportation for that burn victim.
And Mary, I'm going to interrupt you right now. We'd like to know the emergency situation you were talking about where they need to transport a burn victim to the Sherman Oaks Burn Center. Can you talk to the gentleman you were speaking to earlier and see if perhaps we can provide helicopter service or help in some way?
Well, we'll find out live right now. Interruption quick. Can we provide helicopter service in any way to get that man out of here for you?
That would be very helpful. We're trying to see right now if we can get that patient ready to go and even put him in a car, so a helicopter would be fantastic. I do know that Sherman Oaks has a heliport, so if you've got somebody who can get here and land, we'd be more than happy to transport.
How do we communicate with it?
How do you communicate?
Yeah, can you give us the frequencies for the helicopter and all that on your roof?
Well, we don't have a roof access to drop down on. They'd have to come to the parking lot. We have to clear a space out here and drop the helicopter down right here in our parking lot.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, thanks.
We're on our way back to the shop.
Sean Thomas hasn't stopped moving in over a week.
Somebody asked me what day it was last week, and I had no idea.
He's an engineer at Granada Hills Community Hospital, and since the day of the earthquake, work has come first.
I'm trained to keep the building operational, to keep it functioning.
That's what he did after literally running here from home the morning of the quake. He hasn't been allowed back into his apartment since. While the hospital held up pretty well, Sean's first job was to turn off the gas main at the collapsed building next door.
I get over there, the gas is going through the meter unregulated. I mean, completely pouring through. It's so close to my building that if anything happens to it, it happens to me.
While Sean kept the building running last week, hospital president Richard Gold set up an outdoor triage unit and began working some magic.
We did get a gentleman to get through to his girlfriend on a CB radio and get an order down to Irvine and have supplies delivered up to the hospital.
Okay, thanks.
Then came those treating the patients.
I thought somebody was breaking into my apartment, and then it clicked that this was what an earthquake was all about. My first thought was to get to work. I wanted to be at work. I didn't want to be where I was.
Now, over a week later, people are still coming into the ER, stressed out over the continuing tremors. And doctors like Gary Prophet try to figure out where they can see patients.
We have approximately 3,000 to 5,000 patients.
The hospital is helping him move into a new office. Meanwhile, he and his family live in an RV outside their damaged home. The dedication of those at Granada Hills Community Hospital has been appreciated not only by the patients.
Just what we need.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
But also by the staff members trying to put personal and professional lives back in order.
It's a time like this that you realize who your friends are.
I want to personally thank every employee, physician, volunteer, and foundation member for their time, their commitment, their dedication, and their spirit to this family and to this hospital. Without you, getting through this traumatic experience could not have been possible. Thank you.